JAX-RS injection annotations. So in this presentation, we are going to actually learn a few more annotations in JAX-RS. So the annotations we are going to learn include path param, matrix param, query param, form param, and bean param. So these are the annotations that you can use to extract information that are coming from the client. Okay. And header param and cookie param, these are for extracting header information and cookie information. And context annotation is used to access some context objects. So by using this JAX-RS provided injection annotations, you're asking JAX-RS runtime to inject some useful information into your code. So let's take a look at the URI path template concept, and then we're going to take a look at few annotations, injection annotations. So URI path template, we have seen this example already in, let's say, the 3.3 exercise. So basically URI path templates are URIs with variables embedded, okay? And this variable captures client request value. So suppose we have URI, for example, http example.com/users and Sang Shin. And if we want to capture the value of Sang Shin and other names as a variable, then we are going to specify username as a variable by using curly brace. So whenever you're using curly brace, you're basically indicating that I want to capture the value on that fragment of the URL as a variable. Later on, if you want to access the value of username, you have to use what is called the path param, and this username has to be the same name as this guy. Okay, so basically once I get username value, in this case Sang Shin, then I can actually use it, I can access it by using my username variable. Okay, and this name could be different, right? It could be Jennifer Jones or something like that. And again, my username variable should reflect whatever after this user's URL fragment. Okay, so that is URL path template, which means it is the URL that contains a variable. Okay, so path param and query param. So we already actually seen example of path param to capture the value in the URI, okay, or URL. Query param annotation is used to extract the information from request parameters. So in this case, suppose you have a URL and question mark start equals 0 or something like that. If you want to capture the value of the start request parameters, then we are going to use query param. So let's see an example of this too. So here, suppose you have item resource and it's actually handling this items path. We'll talk about this consumes later on. Let's focus on this URI template. So here, if I want to capture value of after items, and basically I can capture as a variable. So path, and we are now using curly brace ID. So whatever value after item, so this item is actually from the class level path, right? Whatever value after that will be captured as an ID. Now, if I want to use that ID, I can I have to actually capture it using path param annotation, and this ID has to be the same as here. Okay, and then I should be able to use this ID. Now, the JAX-RS also actually perform the type conversion. So here this is a string, right? In URI, this will be converted to long type automatically by the JAX-RS runtime. If you say here integer, then it will be converted into integer. If you say string here, then it will be converted to a string. I mean, it is already a string, so it will actually capture as a string. So type conversion is already done for you by the time you access this ID value. Now that's actually path param. The next example is query param. So here there is a URI and question mark and start equals 0, and you could have in fact a multiple request parameters, right? Now if I want to capture value of this start, right, then you're going to use the query param. Query param start, and this start variable will capture the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, or whatever. Okay, and then here is an example of a default value. So suppose you also have query param on size, but the size request parameter is not coming from the client. In that case, if you specify the default value 3 int size, then default value 3 will be converted into int type of size. Okay, so query param with the default value, you can see we have two annotations the associated with this size, the argument, right? So in that case, the default value 3 will be captured as a value of size. Does this make sense? Okay. The URI template, path template variable could actually have a regular expression. So here, the username has to be in the form of this regular expression. So it has to start with a capital or a small letter, and then after that, it could have the letter and the number. Okay. So username variable only match usernames with this regular expression. If there is no match, meaning if the user sent something, username that doesn't match this regular expression. For example, it contains a number as a first, the first character. Then 44 not found response will be returned to the client. Matrix param is matrix parameters are set of name value URI path. So in the URI, you could actually have this kind of notation. So users semicolon username Sang Shin and age 20. So this is a valid URI. So if you want to capture these things, then you want to use matrix param. So in this case, I can say matrix param username, and I'm going to capture that as a username variable. And here I'm going to capture as age the argument. Okay, so matrix param is to capture this kind of notation in the URI. Form param is to capture form parameters. Okay, so suppose user is sending a form typically from a browser, then if the form contains input field name of name and age, then you should be able to capture those things in the form of form param. Okay, so this is the URI. This is the form page. So we have input field and input field name and age, and we should be able to capture the values of input and age input field value using form param annotation. Okay, so we're gonna do exercise 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we're gonna actually exercise path param, query param, default value, form param. So let's take a look at the lab documentation. Inject an annotation. Let me go to the top here. So we're gonna do exercise 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, you're gonna actually import the project. So let's actually import the project. File, import, existing Maven project. And here, go to the lab and injection, sample application. Yeah, we inject a bunch of sample applications. Okay, so the first one we're going to actually try is the JAX-RS injection path param. So JAX-RS injection param. So this is the one. Okay. All right, so let's actually run the application. So right click and run on server and finish. And it should let us to choose user Sang Shin and users one John. Yeah, so this is the case. The first case is all okay. The second one is probably regular expression constraint. Okay, so let's see. Is it building? Maybe I didn't actually. Oh, okay, so we have to actually build it. Path param run as Maven install. Okay, so now let's run the application again. Okay, it's almost started. Okay, so we should have a URI. One is Sang Shin, so it will return probably username. Username is Sang Shin, age is 20, and let's say if I click this guy, it will be 44RS. So if you take a look at the code, so we are using path param to capture username as username, right? So it will have output. Sorry about that. Let me just, sorry about that. So if you take a look at the code, we have a path param username and will be captured as your username argument, right? And here we're just displaying user's name is the username and age is age, like this. And we haven't learned how to actually create the response here. So basically this is one way how we can create the response, or we can just create a string if you want to. So for your own exercise, add another method which takes the user's country and city and username. So before we do that, let's actually try the an exercise here. Path param here, user resources, and so here so if I actually give a different value instead of Sang Shin, I can actually certainly give a different value, and it will be captured as different values about Mary Jones, something like that, and then you should display Mary Jones, right? Okay, so whatever value after users will be captured as variable. So that is the idea. So for your exercise, I want you to add another method that takes the users, and whatever after users is going to be country, and then after that is going to be city as a variable and username. Okay. So basically, you're going to just add another path param for country and city, right? And you can just use the same logic here and just display country and city, changing this guy. Exercise 2 is matrix param. Matrix param is, this is a case that we have users, username Sang, and age is something like that. So let's take a look at the matrix param. So matrix, here you go. So here let's again build it. And then we're gonna run the application. Okay, now let's run the application known as run on server, and get start the server. Yeah, still building. Is restarting the server, and then we are going to see URL that contains here we go. Okay, so the URL is going to be something like this. So here is going to be capturing again Sang Shin and age 99, and if you take a look at the code, let's take a look at the code, user resources, and so basically we are capturing username and age. Okay, the URL that comes from it, so if you want to just capture here, we can just certainly actually take a look at the network and refresh the page, and we should be able to actually see here. You can see oh, this is URL, and actually, oh, I have to click this guy. So I have to click this guy, and then we should be able to see here. You can see it's actually having users, and then we have semicolon username, and then the age 99. So we are capturing these values in the form of the matrix param. So that is matrix param, and so that is that. Modify the get user method and add a new method that handles username, age, and country. So we want to actually handle country and city as well. Exercise 3 is a query param. So in this case, query param is the username is actually, yeah, so we have users question mark username and equal John Mist. So when URL is something like this, we want to capture username as a query param. So here, if you take a look at the code, here we are using query param and default value age. So we should actually display, it should actually say age is 20 or something like that. So let's take a look at the let's run that query param example. So query param here, right click, run as, and run on server. Get and restart the server. Okay, almost there. All right, so here is going to capture username John Mist. Okay, and if I want to actually have a different name, so instead of John Mist, I'm gonna say Sang Shin or something like that, and when I run it, then you should see Sang Shin. Okay, age, if I want to actually give a different age, so then I'm gonna use the ampersand sign age 99, something like that, then it reflects 99. If you don't specify that age here, then the default value will be applied. Okay, so it's going to be 20. Right, so if you take a look at the code, we are using query param and default value 20 in age. Okay, all right, so for your exercise, you're going to actually use the country and city query parameters. Form param is suppose we have an application that displays a form, name and age, and this will be captured as a form param, right? So this is capturing form param. So let's actually run the form param here. Form param, let's run the application, run on server, get, restart the server, and we are going to actually have a browser that displays a form, and then we should be able to send different data, and different data will be captured as a form param variables. Okay. Here, modify index.h index.jsp page so that you can enter, a user can enter hobby field as well, and modify the add user method to receive the value of hobby field. All right, so let me just demonstrate this one, and then I'll let you guys have a lap time. Okay, so here I would say JPassion. How about it? How about John? And age 88, and then add user. Then we should see user is added, John, age 88. Okay, so if you take a look at the code again, we are using form param. Okay. All right, so for your exercise, so I am going to give you guys about 20 minutes to do exercise 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's